What's up, friends? Today on the radar, we've got an asset that can make even the most experienced traders sweat. We're talking about Bittensor, ticker TAO, the flagship of decentralized artificial intelligence. Over the last 24 hours, we've seen real drama around Bittensor. Price tried to break through the $200 level and completely failed. And right now, TAO is retesting a critical support zone around $165. Retail is panicking, leveraged longs are getting liquidated, and Twitter is flooded with tears. But we are not the crowd. We're here to go deeper. In this video, we're going to run a brutally detailed, no BS technical analysis of TAO. We'll break down the order books, look into on-chain and derivatives metrics, review the latest tweets and news from the last 24 hours, track what the whales are doing, and talk about the current status of the Grayscale Bittensor Trust ETF and the expansion of Bittensor subnets. If you're holding TAO, thinking of buying it, or simply want to understand where the entire AI crypto sector is heading, watch this video from start to finish. Price action, volume. Let's get straight to the chart. What actually happened over the last 24 hours? Yesterday, on March 8th, TAO tried to make an impulsive move to the upside. Bulls attempted to break through that psychological and technical barrier at $200. What did we get instead? A classic fakeout. Just look at this wick on the 4-hour chart. Price tapped into the resistance zone, buyers simply didn't have enough liquidity behind them, and we got aggressively sold off back into the range. Right now, price is trading in the $179, $184 region, after already sweeping local lows around $165. And that's where it gets interesting. Why did we actually pull back? If we look at open interest on TAO futures, we can see that during that push toward $200, OI spiked by roughly 5-7%. In simple terms, that means a massive wave of retail hamsters jumped into high leverage longs right at the local top, chasing a breakout and completely ignoring risk management. But market makers are not in the business of giving gifts. They saw that liquidity cluster in the form of long stop losses sitting below $180 and $170, and they simply went for that liquidity. Funding flipped briefly negative, and cumulative spot CVD started trending down, signaling a lack of organic spot demand at the top of the move. At the same time, 24-hour trading volume is sitting around $180 million, while the market cap is roughly in the 1.8–1.9 billion range. That's close to 8–10% of the market cap traded in a single day. This asset is very much alive, and volatility is absolutely insane. Institutional players are clearly repositioning ahead of upcoming catalysts. Deep technical analysis. You know I don't like reading tea leaves. I believe in numbers, structure, and probabilities, not wishful thinking. Let's break TAO down by timeframes. On the daily chart, TAO is in a broad consolidation phase after a brutal downtrend from its all-time high around $750–760 back in March 2024, roughly a 75% drawdown from the peak. Think about that for a second. The asset has had a deep reset and is now building a massive accumulation base. If we throw on the moving averages, short-term EMAs 10 and 21 are trying to cross and flip into a buy signal as price attempts to hold above them. But the heavy artillery, the 50-day and 100-day SMAs, is still pressing from above, acting as dynamic resistance. Daily RSI is hovering right around 50. That's textbook neutrality, neither oversold nor overbought. The market is coiled like a spring, waiting for a catalyst to fire the next big move. MACD histogram is flattening out toward the zero line, telling us volatility is compressing before the next expansion. On the 4-hour chart, the picture gets more precise. We can clearly see a defined range. The lower boundary is our reinforced support around $165. The upper boundary is the $200 $210 resistance zone that just rejected price. Right now we're hovering near the mid-range. OBV has broken below a local support trend line, which supports the thesis that yesterday's push was driven mainly by leveraged positioning rather than strong, sustained spot buying from whales. When OBV is bleeding while price tries to push up, that's usually not the kind of move you want to chase. Now, this is what a lot of Western analysts have been talking about, and I partially agree with them. On the 1-hour chart, TAO is forming a classic falling wedge pattern, a bullish reversal structure. Yesterday, we tested the upper boundary of that wedge, and today we've pulled back toward the lower boundary. If we can hold that $175 area and then break to the upside through the wedge's trend line with strong volume confirmation, the minimum technical target for this pattern sits in the $303 and $306 zone. Yes, you heard that right. A potential 60% plus move from current levels purely from wedge completion. But remember, the pattern only becomes valid after a confirmed breakout and sustained acceptance above the wedge on real volume. Until that happens, these are just lines on a chart, nothing more. Technical analysis is great, but crypto runs on narratives and liquidity. And in AI crypto, the narrative is stronger than ever right now. Let's talk fundamentals and what hit the info space in the last 24 hours. Across the crypto space, people are increasingly talking about autonomous AI agents plugging directly into blockchains. Bittensor is being mentioned as one of the key ecosystems for this trend. So, what is TAO on a macro level? It's not just another coin. It's a decentralized machine learning network, a peer-to-peer market for intelligence. Miners provide compute and ML models, validators evaluate their quality, and rewards are paid out in TAO. While corporations like OpenAI and Google build closed, centralized AI monopolies, Bittensor is building an open, permissionless AI substrate. As autonomous agents emerge that can interact with each other, transact, and exchange data on-chain, they will need exactly this kind of decentralized, censorship-resistant backbone. According to the current roadmap and ecosystem commentary, Bittensor is on a long-term path to expanding its subnet count toward 256 specialized subnets. These subnets host narrow-focus models that compete within niches like text generation, audio, prediction markets, or trading algorithms. The more subnets exist, the more economic activity the network can host, and the more TAO validators need to stake to secure and participate in these verticals. That creates structural supply pressure. TAO has a hard cap of 21 million tokens, and right now roughly 10.7 million are already in circulation, depending on the data provider. That's less than 55% of the total supply, and emissions follow a Bitcoin-style halving schedule. And here's the really hot topic. Behind the scenes, the battle for a regulated Bittensor product is underway. Grayscale has already launched a Bittensor Trust and filed a Form S-1 with the SEC at the end of 2025 to convert it into a spot ETF under the ticker GTAO on NYSE Arca. If this gets approved, it would be the first TAO ETP in the US. We've already seen what spot ETFs did for Bitcoin and Ethereum. They opened the floodgates for institutional capital. A regulated TAO ETF could become the exact trigger that sends Bittensor to retest and potentially take out its all-time highs. The SEC is, as always, slow-rolling the process, but the fact that the largest crypto asset manager in the world is betting on TAO speaks volumes. Smart money is positioning early. Let's jump into Twitter, or X, because that's the heartbeat of the crypto market. What's happening there right now? Scrolling through my feed, a popular analyst, let's call him Crypto Joe, recently highlighted the exact same falling wedge on the hourly TAO chart with upside targets around $303.9 and $306.4 and a generally bullish bias. That post went viral across AI crypto circles. But the real story is in the replies. The comments are full of panic. We failed to break 200, we're going straight to 130. Project is dead. AI bubble popped. That's classic sentiment divergence. When the chart is quietly building a bullish pattern while retail, shaken by a 10-15% correction, is screaming down only, that's exactly where smart money likes to accumulate. On top of that, CoinCodex algorithmic models today show a short-term bearish bias, projecting possible downside into the $130 and $140 area based on weaker short-term moving averages. And I'll say this, a dip to 137 wouldn't break the broader bullish structure at all. It would simply be a deeper liquidity test. For true long-term investors, that's not a disaster, that's a gift. Meanwhile, the official Bittensor X account remains focused on building. No meme spam, no empty promises, no when moon posts, just protocol updates, research, and developer content. As an analyst, I absolutely love that. When a team ignores short-term price action and ships real product instead of hype, that's a hallmark of a mature, fundamentally strong project. Now let's zoom out. We cannot analyze TAO in a vacuum. We have to respect the macro backdrop. The AI crypto sector is heavily correlated with traditional markets, especially big tech and AI leaders like Nvidia and the broader Nasdaq. When legacy markets are strong and tech earnings smash expectations, AI tokens and crypto tend to move in the same direction, often with 2-3x volatility. Right now, markets are a bit choppy. The Fed is still playing games with interest rates, liquidity flows in and out of risk assets, and Bitcoin dominance is elevated. As long as Bitcoin isn't in a stable range or clear distribution phase, altcoins, even strong ones like TAO, RNDR, or FET, will struggle to put in a fully independent parabolic run. But here's the nuance many people miss. TAO is not just an AI narrative coin with a buzzword in the ticker. It's an infrastructure layer, a layer 1 blockchain designed specifically for machine learning workloads and decentralized compute. As demand for censorship-resistant AI infrastructure keeps growing, especially with all the drama around centralized models and content restrictions, the intrinsic value of Bittensor is likely to trend higher over the long term. So, what do we actually do with all of this? How do you trade TAO in the current conditions? Let me walk you through my personal plan, and I want to make one important detour here. In trading, just like in sports, discipline is everything. That's why at the beginning of the video, I mentioned my morning routines. If you don't control your cortisol, if you're sleep deprived and making decisions on emotion, this market will eat you alive. You are not supposed to jump onto a moving train. You are supposed to wait for price to come to your levels. Spot strategy. For spot, I see the $165–170 zone as an excellent long-term accumulation area. If the CoinCodex style models play out and we get a deeper flush toward $137–140, that's my zone for more aggressive scaling in. I'll simply set a ladder of limit orders and go back to my life, creating content, training, and working, instead of staring at the 5-minute chart in panic. For intraday futures trading, right now we're in what I call a no-trade zone. Longing at $180–185 is risky because we're still below major resistance and in the middle of the range. Shorting here is also low quality because we're close enough to wedge support and can easily squeeze higher off the lower boundary. My long setup only activates in 2 scenarios. We confirm a stronghold of $165 with a clear 4-hour pin bar and elevated volume, showing capitulation and absorption of supply. Or we break above $200, then retest that level from above as support. And only then I open longs with targets at $240, $280, and ultimately above $300 in line with the falling wedge target zone. Risk management. Do not allocate more than 5–10% of your trading capital into a single altcoin. I don't care how strong the fundamentals are, crypto is still crypto. If you're using leverage, always use hard stops. Protect your capital first. The market will give you infinite opportunities, but you only get one bankroll. To sum it up, Bittensor TAO is in a critical compression phase. Whales are clearly shaking out weak hands, hunting stops, and emotionally burning out anyone who expected instant riches. Fundamentally, the project is only getting stronger. Subnets are expanding, autonomous AI agents are integrating, and a potential ETF is on the horizon. Technically, we're testing key supports and building a high-energy structure. Current weakness is not a reason to panic. It's a reason to analyze and prepare. This market constantly redistributes money from the impatient to the patient. Make sure you're in the second group. Alright, that was a dense breakdown. I hope your brain hasn't melted from the amount of information. If you enjoy this kind of deep dive, where we combine fundamentals, macro, and hard technicals, make sure to smash the like button. That's the best way to say thank you for the work behind these videos. Drop a comment below. Are you holding TAO in your portfolio? What levels are you looking to buy or take profit? And do you believe in a $300+ target for TAO this cycle? I read every single comment and reply to the most interesting one. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss urgent updates. Make sure to join my Telegram. The link is in the description. I share my trades there in real time, post setups before they hit YouTube, and we talk not only about crypto, but also productivity, biohacking, and how to stay in shape and mentally sharp while trading. Keep a cool head, manage your risk, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.